Hey Dunchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and welcome to my review of the very solid third record from Major Lazer. This one's called Peace is the Mission, and I was never really a fan of Major Lazer until recently. A lot of their stuff pushed me away, songs like Bubble Butt, which are just very cringy, and I just never really liked their stuff in the past, but as they drift into a little bit more of the EDM scene, they've been getting a lot more attention with the rise and popularity of Diplo coming as an EDM producer rather than a hip-hop producer, which he's done in the past. And as Diplo focuses more on his side projects, I think his side projects are actually getting better, and I've already talked about the Jack U album this year. Obviously Diplo's been crazy busy this year and last year working on new material, and I think probably my feelings on this record are actually very similar to what the Jack U record was, and that basically is going to go how they feature a lot of awesome guests, a lot of cool appearances like Elephant and 2 Chainz once again on another Diplo collab track. DJ Snake on Lean On, that one's been getting a ton of popularity recently. And although I'm very critical of DJ Snake's music because at this point all his music is kind of starting to sound the same, female vocalist with very similar drops and just getting very old, I think this might be the best work he's actually worked on, maybe other than You Know You Like It, that one featuring Aluna George. I think honestly with this album, even though it's 9 tracks long, about the same length as the Jack U record, woo! Even though it is a fairly short album, it's still very enjoyable, and honestly I didn't have too many bones to pick with this album. I'm gonna get out of the way what I didn't like about this record. The song Roll the Bass, just a little bit too wild and kind of just, it didn't really sound too appealing, just a little bit too generic. I've heard this same style I feel like a million times before, especially with classic Major Lazer tracks, and I just really kind of noisy and obnoxious. And although I do like obnoxious depending on the situation, I just wasn't a fan of this track. The collab with Ariana Grande, at least the remix, All My Love, just not very interesting and not one of Ariana's best appearances as a vocalist. And although I'm not a huge fan of her, I have enjoyed some of her stuff in recent months, and I just didn't think that this song, which really is kind of like an extra, I feel like, on the album, it didn't even really need to make the cut because it doesn't really fit in with the other ones. Honestly, just not one of my favorites. And but for the most part, like I said, this album is very unique, brings a lot of different elements like the Jack U record. We even hear some similar sounds, like with Blaze Up the Fire, we hear some sounds like Febreze on the Jack U record. We get some very catchy, kind of more pop-oriented tracks like the intro, Be Together, and that's actually one of my favorites on the record. Just very synthy and flowing, very nice to listen to, and I think this was definitely a good kickoff track. We get the track Night Riders, which is just a very well-produced hip-hop song and kind of reggaeton kind of track, and even though I'm not usually into this style, this one's very good. And that's something I seem to notice with this album, is that they kind of blend some new styles rather than taking that classic hip-hop Moombahton route, and they kind of mix it up a little. Get some new sounds and get EDM and get kind of that audience that they want finally attracted to their music, and that's something that was really great about this record for me, is that I finally found myself enjoying and being able to groove to this stuff. We even get a little bit of a future bass sound on tracks like Powerful with Ellie Goulding, and just like I said, they're experimenting with a lot of different sounds, and I feel like Peace is the Mission is a step toward the right direction, and I'm definitely looking forward to their next upcoming album, Music is the Weapon, which I think is going to be a direct sequel to this album, and I'm hoping it'll be even better, maybe having slightly less generic tracks like Roll the Bass, and get the Ariana Grande remix out too. Don't just remake tracks and with a new style and end up with something just for Ariana Grande fans, which I feel like that was the only addition this brought to the record. But overall, this album was just really enjoyable, and I really liked listening to it, and like I said, just a very good listen, and something that I can have on replay value for a long time. And anyway, I'm going to give this record a 7.5. That's about 3/4 good, mostly for the length and the fact that I didn't really like two or three of the tracks. And I'll have to listen to this a few more times, but don't think this will be in my top 10 this year. Maybe I'll do top 20, top 25, because there's so many great records coming out this year, and I'd love to include them all. Anyway, what'd you guys think of the review? What'd you think of the album, most importantly? Go out and listen to it if you haven't. Like I said, very good listen, and something that you can enjoy and pump out to in the car. Do whatever. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Anyway, I'm Lazer Remixes, and peace out.